John DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones and get away. Night or day, it's John DeSando on the radio. Watch the
Cinema Classics is produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to shows Thursdays at 8:01 p.m. on WCBE 90.5 FM. And listen to shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John
And
DeSando,
I'm Wayne the Muppet Miller.
and this is Cinema Classics. Well, now you know you and I have been producing shows for ages, for decades.
Yep.
In fact, you had an illustrious career at a university locally.
Yes.
When you were part of the theatrical group.
Yeah, doing things. And that's why I really like this movie. You know, we're seeing Saturday night.
Yeah, wow. And this is the origin story for Saturday Night Live, or?
Exactly. And ironically, when we viewed the movie, it was on October 11th, which was the date in 1975
Wow.
that it first aired on NBC. And replacing Johnny Carson they were showing Johnny Carson reruns,
Right.
the Tonight Show reruns. And Carson wanted more reruns during the week so he could take more time off. So they needed something to replace the reruns of the Tonight Show.
Yeah, and one of the many challenges Laura Michaels had, the showrunner for this, was that NBC really wanted to show Carson they didn't need him that much.
yeah, that's right.
So it's not really that NBC even cared whether they were successful. It just wanted.
Just wanted to kind of like. But you know, it's funny, one thing, and there were a number of things in this movie that, number one, I really like. And since you and I are both on the advisory council for Shadowbox Live,
Good call.
we appreciate a sketch comedy, good sketch comedy. We appreciate good, rousing music, you know.
And you're referring to a local Columbus
Yes.
sketch comedy group, and who've been likened to others, and not necessarily Saturday Night Live, but Chicago.
And as a side note, God love them, that they, I just saw on Facebook today, they had about 8 or 9 of them all went to over the weekend to see Saturday Night. Yeah, you know, they can appreciate that. But also, John, you know, we could appreciate certain aspects of this movie as a movie, even if it wasn't based on reality. You know, there's certain things that are about putting on the show. And in a way, it reminds me some of those old Andy Rooney, Judy Garland musicals in the late 30s, early 40s.
How about Mickey Rooney? I would prefer
Mickey
that.
Rooney, yeah, Mickey Rooney. And, well, hey kids, let's put on a show. We
Well,
can
look
get
at
Tommy's Barn.
This Saturday night, which you could call a docudrama,
Yes.
does not pretend to be everything that happened the 90 minutes before the show went live
Yes.
at 11:30 on October 11th. In fact, they pull from months previous to this
Yes.
and others, but who cares? I don't care.
There's such a thing as dramatic license, and I kind of
Yes.
knew that because in the end credits, there was a little blur so that some aspects were conduced down to to that period.
Yeah.
And so I was, I really like to go and see. So I found several articles online, one from the New York Times, talking about fact or fiction. You know, some of the things like, number one, there's no record that Johnny Carson, as is depicted in the movie, calls and kind of, in a backhanded way, wishes Lorne Michaels, the producer of Saturday Night Live, which, interesting enough, Live was not added until I think the following year.
Sure, that was originally Saturday night. And you're right, that one of the things that the movie does is it draws me in because the first half hour or so is absolutely chaotic.
Yes.
They must be using a handheld camera.
Yeah, they did, and they did that on purpose. A review I read, a handheld 16mm camera.
A little bit like Birdman, if you remember that, when
Yes.
it was tracking
Yeah.
as they were putting on that show. Yeah, I
I
love that.
A bit of the cinema verite.
Yeah, I love it,
of that.
although
Yeah,
it could put some people off because you can't get a hold on anything, they're just moving so fast.
Yeah.
Almost as if they were tracking Michaels through the chaos.
yes, yeah, which was really kind of interesting. I thought that was a good way of doing it. That
Yeah.
basically, we pretty much followed him around the entire
And
movie.
he is played by Gabriel LaBelle, who
Yeah,
you could barely recognize from Fabelmans.
yeah,
And
yeah.
boy, does he do a terrific job of
Yes.
kind of being nonplussed or at least almost neutralized by everything that's going on as he could.
He's got a rebellious cast, particularly the guys on the cast. The women, the three women, which I really kind of got a kick out of, they seemed like a trio of fun-loving, a girl power, type of people.
Oh, well, one of the women, one of the roles that really struck me as interesting was that played by Rachel Sennett, whom we've seen before.
Yes.
And she plays his wife,
Yeah.
Rosie.
Yes.
And at one point she tells him that we may be married, but I'm not your wife.
Exactly.
And
Well, at the time, she was having an affair with Dan Aykroyd, who was really kind of the playboy of the
Yes,
group.
right, which was
Yes.
strange considering that it wasn't a classically handsome guy.
No.
It must have been charming as
Yeah, yeah, and I guess so. And charming, funny, extremely bright, and because he
Dylan
had,
O'Brien.
yes,
Yeah.
and he had, in fact, at one time, I didn't know that he had dated Gilda Radner, but during the time he was having an affair with Rosie, Lorne Michaels' wife, he was dating Lorraine Newman, another cast member.
It's all a bunch of incest.
Doesn't it it kind of reminds me in college and
yeah.
being in plays and stuff like that, and just dating whoever would go out with me.
One of the spot-on portrayals was Corey Michael Smith's Chevy Chase.
Yes.
And
yes.
I've often heard that Chevy Chase was a real a-hole.
Yeah.
And he shows him this way, although the interesting thing is he makes himself likable.
Yeah. Because he was very good. I liked his pratfalls. That's the kind of model as you know.
Oh, yes, right.
Going for the cheap
Yeah,
black
right,
and
right.
tripping over trash cans.
Yes, right.
And Chase did such a very good job of that on the show, and particularly as a bumbling, at the time, President Gerald Ford, and he portrayed him. But he...
And I think there was a little competition between them for the girls, between Aykroyd and him for the girls.
Right. And but one thing that was kind of funny that that actually didn't take place, that he and Belushi get in a fist fight, Chevy Chase, and they're down on the floor rolling around throwing punches. And from what I was reading, something like that did occur, but it was episodes later, much later, that he had a fist fight with Bill Murray. That Belushi egged on, and at one point both guys wound up socking John Belushi. So something like that did take place.
Well,
It was just one of the many things, though.
As you mentioned, Belushi, I don't think there's anybody that's more emblematic of
Yes.
SNL than John Belushi.
Oh, yes.
And he died, I think, somewhere around
33, yes, yeah.
But in this show, Matt Wood does a spot-on imitation of him.
Right.
And he is reluctant to sign his contract. Can you imagine Lorne Michaels?
Yeah.
He's got this show going on,
Yeah.
and he really knows how important Belushi is.
And that was a fact that he didn't sign until 5 minutes before. They did bring out, though, that Chevy Chase didn't sign a contract for being a performer because he signed it for being a writer.
Yeah.
Yes, he was one of the original writers. What I really liked about this, the acting. And and of course both of us just really liked J.K. Simmons as a slimy Milton Berle.
No, there's no question Milton Berle did not visit the set.
No. He did host, about 4 years later, and the cast did not like him at all.
Yeah, he was apparently, unlikable. But J.K. Simmons is astonishing.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's because we've seen him before, we know he's an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
But this portrayal of Berle is an individual who may or may not be the exact duplicate of Milton Berle. But boy, is he arresting when he comes on that set. He just takes over.
Well, and two of the best performances in this movie are veterans, older veterans like J.K. Simmons, but also Willem Dafoe.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
as a talent agent,
Now-
I think his last name was Tibbet or something like that.
I'm
The
glad-
talent
yeah.
executive.
I'm
for
glad,
NBC.
you're right, I'm glad you brought that up, because both of them are representative of television at that time.
Yes.
Burl was, what did they call him?
Mr. Television.
Mr. Television.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
Uncle Milty.
Uncle
And
Milty.
everybody knew, and we all watched him every week.
Yeah.
You know, so he was profoundly important for television, for bringing us and at home into his world, into his little comedy. And he
Yeah.
was great. And then when you have Defoe as the chief of talent at NBC, representing the forces against which and
Yeah.
that do support. I mean, in
Yeah.
both, he's ambivalent. That he's going to bring them down if they make any mistakes,
Right.
and yet at the same time, he's the one who gives them the okay.
Right. Well, it seemed, and it came right down to the wire, right down to when they were going to start. And but in real life, supposedly, it wasn't quite that bad because this character, this talent exec at NBC, really kind of had faith in the show, and you saw him laughing sometimes. I kind of thought you would like that him. Defoe, since he wore tinted glasses.
Yes, and who? You're right. Yeah, he did big glasses. And who is Dick Ebersol? Isn't it?
That was somebody else.
No, I know that,
Yeah,
but I'm
but-
saying, as far as somebody who actually watched for them,
Yes.
was Dick Ebersol.
Uh-huh.
And I thought,
NBC.
yeah, he was just wearing the worst outfit in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just this very bad 1970s outfit. Okay, Wayne Miller, here's something that our audience can look forward to.
Yes.
More blather in our podcast, and this would be our Double Take podcast. You
Yes.
have to go to WCBE.org. But I think we'll also, let's do something that I know will be home territory for you. Let's look at some other TV shows
Okay,
around that
that
time.
was- okay.
Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah, because that's my forte.
what's your advice?
I would say go see it, especially if you were just even a casual fan of Saturday Night Live. Go see it. I think anybody could enjoy it, even if if you just want to see a docudrama or docu-comedy, and basically in this case,
Sure.
you'll enjoy it.
I'm John DeSando.
Cinema, 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 cinema. Classics, let's go to